Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Jace here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we have another Let's Play after Renewal, but before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content. And this time is gonna be Maika. I didn't have a good impression when I checked the patch notes and the things that they did to Maika. But that's because hair renewal in particular is very deceiving. Usually on the patch notes, you will see details on what they change, but the most specific details are going to be, let's say that they change a skill and they say into what skill it changes, like in the case of Ingrid, which she got the second basic enhancer and the skill canceller. That's an example. And also you're gonna have the information of effects that are changed. But Maika didn't receive too many of those. So let's see. It says balancing adjustments. The performance of Kamimura Maika has been adjusted as follows. The visual effects, animations, area of effect, and damage of some skills have changed. And that's what this renewal is really about. And it fixes a ton of things that Maika had, some issues that Maika had. So it is really, really good. I didn't think so at the beginning, but I take back what I say. It's actually not that bad. Then, a new unique skill has been added. By new unique skill, they mean leader skill. And in this case, we have Chain Explosion. Upon hitting an enemy, burn them for 5 seconds at a 5% chance. Deals additional damage when attacking a burning enemy, which is nice. Unfortunately, it doesn't say how much damage you deal, but extra damage is fine, particularly for a damage dealer like Maika. And now, the burn on a 5% chance is balance. I know that you think, well, that's nothing. I'm never gonna proc that. Well, actually, Maika has a ton of multi-hits on all her colors, so it's not gonna be an issue. You're gonna activate that effect. Maybe it's not super consistent, but it's going to appear throughout the battle a ton of times. And the burn effect on 5 seconds is really, really good. Usually the burn effect lasts longer, but they don't want you to abuse the additional damage. That's why they did it that way. And burn is going to inflict again the damage of the attack that inflicted burn. If the attack has multi-hits and one hit inflicts, let's say, 1,000 damage, when the burn procs at the end of burn, it's going to deal another 1,000 damage. So yeah, it is good. I think that's how it burn works. Correct me if I'm wrong. And now, let's continue checking what other changes we can see. The evasion distance before the counter attack for the skill Explosive Rounds has been increased. So, Explosive Rounds was a terrible skill. It is still pretty bad for the most part, but it has a niche now. That's the only thing that really matters. So, this skill was bad because we would have to get hit in order to activate this. And Maika is a ranged attacker. You don't want to get hit in the first place. You would prefer mobility rather than an escape tactic or something. So, yeah. Now we can see that this skill makes you jump, and it has a decent jump. It goes far away from the enemy. So it is a pretty decent option for blue. Honestly, you're only going to use this on blue. So let's read the skill. If you want to check all the skills, all the analysis of the skills, maybe you can check my previous Let's Play on Maika. That's very thorough, but this time we're gonna go a little bit faster. So, Explosive Rounds. Immediately after enemy attack, dash, 7-second cooldown. Immediately after enemy attacks, step back and counterattacks with explosive rounds. To green, reduce the speed of the enemy by 20% for 10 seconds. Nice effect, but honestly, Maika isn't a speed control debuffer. So you may not want it, but I'll admit that it has some level of usefulness because you're gonna get away from the enemy and you're gonna slow them so you can reposition yourself. It is pretty decent, but again, you need to take a hit, and usually you don't want to. Then, 2 blue, make the enemy groggy. This is particularly good because Maid of Flame is going to lock you in place, and usually what you're going to do is that you're going to break the super armor of the enemy if you have enough damage. If you don't have enough damage when you're leveling up, you're going to find this skill pretty useful, but it's a awakening skill. So yeah, and the grog effect is going to keep the enemies in place. That's why it's particularly useful combined with Maid of Flame. So yeah, and the last one, 2 red, increase the area of explosive rounds by 30%. Honestly, completely unimpressive, and you don't want to use it on red. Definitely, you have way better options. Now, the other thing that they changed, the delay of the charging motion and after the skill has been reduced for the skill Taimanin Art Crimson Lotus. Did I? Yeah, it doesn't say it. It doesn't say that specific change that I wanted to check. Well, so this is faster, but let me explain why this is faster. They have changed all the skills that are related to her basic attacks. Maika is now way faster on her basics. Way faster, I mean it. Like, it doesn't, I mean, maybe not like super way faster, but it doesn't feel uncomfortable, I can tell you that, to use her basic attack. Before, it would take too much time for you to make a second attack or reposition yourself. So this is really, really good. And all the skills that have a similar animation to the basic attack have changed. Unfortunately, they didn't fix Pyro, which is probably the worst skill that you can use. This holds attack, it's a range attack, hold attack, normal attack become charge attack, and super armor is applied during the charge. What's the issue? That your DPS is not worth equipping this skill. You deal way more damage by doing your normal basics than charging and getting the whole animation and doing the charge attack. So in terms of DPS, this is not a great option. You get a defense increase with one supporter while attacking. You get an extra defense increase, an additional 40% defense increase while attacking, and you get particle charge, which the particle charge is awful because you only do one hit with this. And honestly, with particle charge, you prefer multi-hits. So it doesn't make that much sense. Honestly, knockback would be way more useful in that case. If it said when hitting with maximum charge, knockback the enemy, that would be way better. But even so, it's not that great of an attack. So, yeah, it is unfortunate. So I do not recommend that you take this one in particular. The normal basics are usable now, which is great, and they really like to use that, so that's fine. So let's talk about all the other skills that are basic related. For example, grenade launcher. Grenade launcher has to compete with carpet bombing because they activate on the same command, so you cannot equip both at the same time. Fortunately, grenade launcher now has the same speed as the basic, so I just mentioned that it is fast enough to feel comfortable. So that means that this also feels comfortable. And you're gonna use this when you're facing one enemy. Grenade launcher is the option when you're facing a single boss, and carpet bombing is the option when you're facing waves of enemies. Except on blue. While you get increased damage here, I'm gonna read it. So, grenade launcher immediately before attack, evade, 14-second cooldown. During an extreme dodge, summon an artillery that automatically attacks nearby enemies for 8 seconds. With 2 green, summon 1 more artillery, which thanks to the speed increase is fine. I previously suggested adding another one, but it is fine thanks to the speed increase that the renewal gave them. Then, 2 blue, increase damage of artillery by 30%, and to red, increase the duration of the artillery by 50%. So basically, it's permanent when it's on red. So the thing is, on blue you get a 30% damage increase on this skill, but if you use carpet bombing, you get a 12% damage increase buff for 10 seconds, which is going to help you with your other skills. So it is not worth it, even if you're facing a single enemy, to use this on blue. It's okay on red or green, but not on blue. Keep that in mind. Then, Crimson Lotus, which is the other basic related skill. This one has an extremely short cooldown, as you can see, it's 1 second. During normal attacks, hold attack. After the normal attack hits with an additional shelling. The skill motion changes depending on the charging level. So yeah, you can do another charge attack with this one. Let's see. So do I have Crimson Lotus? Yeah, I have Crimson Lotus. So you gain a super armor, damage, and a stun with this. So I just... Charging level? What charging level? Ah, well, let me guess. This works in conjunction with the basic enhancer. Is that what you're telling me? Grimoire, let's see. I'm gonna change it. And let's see how that looks. So, if I charge, and I do this, but I have to do a second attack. I don't see it. Am I doing two? Is that it? No. It is the skill. I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't even know why it says charge, honestly. But in any case, this skill, I used to think that it was pretty bad. And technically it is pretty bad for most instances and purposes. But it is extremely good when you rely on a super armor break strategy, because you have a stun here, and a pretty fast stun at that. So it's easy to abuse. If you equip Maika with, let's say, White Feather Aska, this is going to be amazing. You just have to use Death from Above and either Ruthless Explosion or Carpet Bombing. Preferably Ruthless Explosion, because that you activate yourself. Carpet Bombing, you depend on the enemy. So yeah, you could even use Maid of Flame just because it has a ton of multi-hits and you proc the what's the name? The White Feather Aska effect. So, in any case, Crimson Lotus is a skill designed for PvP for the most part, rather than PvE. So, it is fine, yet you technically don't want to use it, because you don't want to use Maika on PvP. It's not like the best character for that role, because she doesn't have healing, and PvP is all about healing. Unfortunately, she does, even though she has excellent damage. The builds on PvP are defensive, and you're not gonna deal that much damage, and you're not gonna do anything. So yeah, don't try not to use Maika on PvP, even though this skill is meant to work there. You're gonna use it more as a maybe PvE stun tech option. Then, what else do we have? The animation changed from Death from Above, but it's basically the same skill. The same can be said about Carpet Bombing. We can see the animation is more polished now, and it's pretty nice. In Cinder Around, I didn't notice the change in the animation. Maybe there is a change in animation, but I honestly didn't notice. I don't have a keen eye, just so that you know. Ruthless Explosion is still the same thing. Pretty good, pretty nice. Pile Flare. Yeah, this one. I am not sure. I think they did tweak it a little bit. Yeah, I think they did, because I get closer to the enemy, and also I go further away from it. I am not sure. Still, I don't like this one, because I would rather move forward and pass the enemy than get near it and reposition myself. It takes too much time, in my opinion, but it is faster than it was before, and I like that. So yeah, you may use this skill if you want. the best color for Pile Flare is going to be either green or red. Blue. Why does blue have defense increase? Because of Maid of Flame. Because Maid of Flame is going to lock you in place and you're gonna take hits. So it is synergistic. Yet, honestly, I would have preferred if they changed this particular effect. Now, Maid of Flame. They adjusted Maid of Flame and I love it. They increased the range. It is not like super long, but it is just long enough for you to position yourself somewhere, start attacking the enemy, and while they are walking towards you, they're gonna break the super armor because of the damage, and they're gonna receive the last hits of Maid of Flame, and then you can start doing other combos. So it is a great idea just to extend the range. That basically fixed the skill, so I like it. Then, am I missing something? No, I think not. I think we already checked all the skills. This one, as I mentioned, just use it on blue because it is synergistic, because you're gonna be close to the enemy. And unfortunately, one of the reasons why we use this one on blue is because we cannot use Ruthless Explosion next to Maid of Flame. They activate on the same command, so it's either or. So that's why you're gonna use Explosive Round when using Maid of Flame. You may use a different skill, but honestly, like, we don't have that many options. Yeah, like, now I feel that I could use all the skills, but no, not all of them are splashables. The pure color are a must-have, usually. The Ruthless Explosion and Carpet Bombing are splashable, but after that, you're gonna want to analyze the stage where you're going. If you're facing one enemy, instead of taking Carpet Bombing or on green or red, you're gonna take Grenade Launcher. Let's say that we're facing Mass Taimanin. It is not a good idea to go with Maika to Mass Taimanin, but I'm just saying, a single enemy, use this. It's gonna be really effective. And yeah, well. Now, let's also check the new weapon. For the new weapon, I got one with the ticket from the what's the name? The Total War, yeah, the Total War, the new ticket on Total War. So it says gain stacks of overheat at the start of battle, 5 stacks of overheat at the start of battle. Using a skill removes 1 stack of overheat. And what does overheat do? You gain 1 stack every 4 seconds when performing a basic attack. Each stack increases skill damage up to 20%, if I'm not mistaken, which is gonna be 100%. So wait a moment, I am just going to equip this, and I'm going to go here, and we can see, yeah, it's gonna be up to 20%, and then we have each stack increases skill damage by 20% up to 5 stack. That means that you can get up to 100% skill damage increase, which is amazing, you know it, but there's a caveat. And then increase damage dealt with basic attacks by 50%. It goes up to 80%, which is pretty good. It incentivizes you rotating between skills and attacks. But what's the issue that this weapon has? You definitely want to use your skills when you have all your stacks, and then you want to start doing attacks, and then you use a different skill. But that's the issue. If you play that way, you are not going to optimally use your skills cooldowns. Instead, you're gonna try to make the most damage out of the skill buff. So yeah, I don't like that. And all of this issue is here because of the lock that we have here. Every 4 seconds, you gain 1 stack every 4 seconds. So you have to use a skill, then start attacking, and when you get the next stack, you use a different skill. You could just ignore that and use skills left and right, and then you start doing using the basics, and then you use more skills. That's also a thing that you can do. But I mean, it depends. I mean, I don't know the math behind it. I haven't tested it thoroughly. But if you want to test it, and you can tell us in the comments what is the most effective way to use this weapon to increase your DPS, that will be amazing. So, in any case, let us check a couple builds. So we have a plethora of weapons for Maika, and most of them are excellent. But Maika is gonna play very different depending on what weapon you use. So we're gonna start with, of course, this one, Fire God Maika, because I already have the build ready. So for that, we're gonna go to Time of 5 BR. We're going to Time of 5 BR because exactly this LWS squad is the perfect scenario for Maika. You want to use Maika when there are multiple enemies and there is a lot of space for you to move. If it's really cramped, you're not going to take. It's going to be really risky for Maika to actually battle there, because she might take hits and she doesn't have healing and she's a ranged attacker. So try not to use her on a really small stage. Like Queen Canalo kind of size of the stage, that's fine. But Master Taimanin, the size of that stage, no, that's awful for Maika. So keep that in mind. So we're gonna start with the limited pack weapon. Decisive weapon. Yeah, so now we have the tags. So we're gonna use the decisive weapon, decisive weapon, which is going to give us 30% critical rate increase on incendiary rounds. So that means we're going green. This is probably the best weapon for green, because even if you don't have the damage increase of the renewal weapon, you can use the active, and you can use your incendiary rounds twice. So yeah, that's extremely useful. So the active, as I mentioned, resets the cooldown of incendiary rounds immediately. After that, particle charge from attacks is reduced by 1% for 5 seconds, stack up to 3 times. So yeah, who cares about that demerit when you have the weapon 5 out of 5? At 1 out of 1, it was a little bit more annoying, I remember, but it is fine. We are gonna use crit Magatemes, critical damage Magatemes. They are nothing special, so yeah. I mean, they are perfect, of course, but whatever. We're gonna use Crimson Karma Onigoroshi, the PP weapon, on the subslot, and whatever Magatemes on the subslot. Both weapon 5 out of 5 and plus 13. For skills, we're using. We're gonna change Pyro. Wait a moment. Yeah, I just changed the skill. We're gonna use Ruthless Explosion and Carpet Bombing. Those are the skills that we want. So, incendiary rounds to deal tons of damage. Ruthless Explosion and Carpet Bombing to do a ton of multi-hits to be able to charge particles so that we can activate the weapon, use the active of the weapon, and we can use incendiary rounds again. That's why we use these skills. Even though there is value in explosive rounds, it doesn't have the enough multi-hit to be good for this strategy. And maybe Granite Launcher wouldn't be that bad. I am not sure if this counts as a skill or as a basic attack, and if it would pair with the Taimanin art. But anyways, let's check. So we have Akane, we have Suruga to increase critical rate, because this is PR and it's extremely difficult to crit, but we're gonna rely on the crit because the skill incendiary rounds gets the critical damage increase. And we're gonna use Kamimura Maika to facilitate the particle charge. And I mean, it is difficult for me to show it to you guys, but when you don't have enough damage, this is actually extremely busted. When you have too much damage, you get diminishing returns from this. So if you don't kill the enemy quickly, you're going to deal a ton of hits. You're going to use your you're gonna gain particles, and you're gonna charge your meter, your gauge, and you're gonna be able to activate the weapon so that you use again incendiary rounds, and then you're gonna charge fully again, and you're gonna get attack up. You get up to 5 damage increase, 10% damage increase for 20 seconds. But the idea is that you cycle into this. But when you have too much damage, you're not gonna cycle because you eliminate the enemies too quickly. So yeah, that's the thing. Stats of the customs, stats of the stat training, and let's go to floor 70. The other ones don't matter. Obviously, Tokiko is going to reduce the defense of the enemies, but just watch this. Maika is really strong. She has always been really strong, and they just make her stronger and a little bit more fluent, I guess that's the word, when facing enemies, because she was kind of slowish. Okay, I use the skill, and I use this, and I use this, oops, and I use this, and incendiary round, and I activate the weapon, and I use incendiary round again, and I can use this thing, and I can use the weapon, and I can use incendiary round again, and you see how I have 3 stacks of attack increase? That's thanks to Maika. So yeah, Maika's limited supporter. What's this? Oh, a glitch. Nice. Well, anyways. So yeah, the green build is extremely good. And as I mentioned, you can use the new weapon, X71 Deep Impact, for this build, for any build actually. And if you're facing machines, you can use Riot Weapon 10-9, again, on any color. It is extremely good. Also, if you're not on VR, you can use Atomic Buster. Again, extremely good. She has so many options. Tata Rhyme, which is the Momochi weapon, also great for any color. Honestly, she just have good weapons. Well, this one, Invincible Juggernaut, is only good on green. Otherwise, it's gonna be a bit stick. Now, let's go with red. For red, you're gonna want to use the Rebellious Weapon or Momochi weapon, because you already reduce the defense of the enemy by a lot, so it's gonna be even more aggressive. If you want, you can go with Deep Impact. As I mentioned, it's fine. Just rotate between basics and skills. And you can also use Atomic Buster. Everything is the same. Just this is 5 out of 5 plus 12. And we're going to be using Carpet Bombing, Ruthless Explosion, and then From Above. Unfortunately, even though they did fix the skills, they are still underperforming in comparison to Ruthless Explosion and Carpet Bombing. Not that they need to nerf these ones. They are perfect as they are. Just, even though they fix them, they're still not appealing enough in most scenarios. They are very niche. Keep that in mind. So, anyways, we're going to be using Susune because you have the Rebellious Weapon. Most of your red skills are going to debuff. There's also the chance for your leader skill to activate. So, it is guaranteed that you're going to have Susune active, basically. Then, since there are a ton of enemies, we use Fujutsuki and Yukina to get a big damage increase. Here are the stats are going to be the same, so I don't need to show you again. Let's just see. Let's just see what it does. Actually, perhaps it is not the smartest thing to try that weapon here, because I did the run when I was testing. Well, I am critting. But I test this against Edwin, and I'm gonna do a run against this Edwin so that we can see just how busted it is. Let's use the active. Come on, yeah, like that. And then this one, oof. So I have more crits, and you can see that I activate the Momochi weapon. And in case I need HP, I just use the active, as you can see. So yeah, a ton of debuffs, and it's extremely easy to just demolish everything. Maika is doing most of the damage. This one, if I'm not mistaken, is... No, it's offensive. It's offensive with a Momochi weapon. And it has Sun Arrows, so that she can guarantee it. And we have also the debuffs from Tokiko using Mechanical Dart and... my god, am I... Ah, yeah, because I didn't change that. Well, Timer Blast would reduce the defense of the enemy if I was pure green, and Clairvoyance. It's just that I haven't changed the build. I just have to do this and equip whatever. But in any case, let's go with this same build to Tower, so that you can see what she can do by herself on red. Because on BR there is a lot of crit resistance, and we don't have the extremely aggressive critical rate increase that green offers, the limited green offers. And yeah, just demolished, as you can see. It is extremely easy. I'm just going to do this and this, and they are done for the most part. Yep. Demolished. I do this and this. Oh, come on, no. Not that. Carpet bombing. Come on, carpet bombing. There. That's from above. Nice. As you can see, done. Done. Yeah, honestly, Human Edwin is probably one of the worst targets for Maika, but everyone else is gonna be fine. Like, this Edwin doesn't teleport as much, so I just do this, and I do this, and we can see that Ingrid might be gone. Ingrid is gone. Ah no, Ingrid is alive. Boris is the one that is gone. And done. You see? Extremely easy. It is extremely aggressive. Now, since we're here, we might as well test the blue one here. So, for the blue one, I am using now the new weapon. So that means that I'm going to rotate between basics and skills. And this is going to provide a buff. Is it a buff? I think it is a buff. Yeah, but overheat is going to appear as an attack buff or something like that. So yeah, in any case, this one I have a 2 out of 5 and it's only +9. And Maid of Flame, Carpet Bombing, Explosive Round. As I mentioned, Explosive Round is going to be useful when you are facing waves of enemies. If you are only facing one single enemy, Explosive Round is not going to be that great because that enemy is going to have super armor for sure. So you can change it for Pile Flare, for Crimson Lotus, for the basic enhancer. But I wouldn't take off Carpet Bombing because you want the damage increase. So we have Mirabelle, and I made a mistake with Mirabelle as well. So she has a 20% chance on crit hits to increase the target's damage taken by 24% for 5 seconds. That's a debuff, not a buff. So she's providing 2 buffs: critical rate increase and damage with the active. And also she's gonna give us a little bit of damage reduction, which she's not on the main, so we're not gonna use those effects. Only the critical rate increase and debuffing the enemy. We're also going to use Honor Rose to guarantee those crits, and we're gonna use Kurenai to just get a big damage increase and become extremely tanky. So let's see. Skills, yeah, everything is in order. So let's just go here and let's see it. And I'll also use it on BR because I can. So the important thing here is that you want to transition properly into your skills. As you can see, I just deleted everything. But I want to start with the perfect dodge after having five stacks, but I didn't. Oh yeah, it is really annoying, extremely annoying, when I use Maika and I get confused on a blue build. God. Yeah, nice, nice, nice. Okay, like that, like that. Break it. Oh, really? Almost. Anyways, let's break that super armor. Nice, nice, nice. Come on. And I use this. And as you can see, it deals a considerable amount of damage. And I'm not even using the buff from Kurenai. Now I am. Yeah, it can be devastating with all the attack increase that I have. I use this, and then this. I do a couple, and now I just delete the bosses. Yeah, this is particularly good against the 3 bosses together. It's just disgustingly OP when you have a ton of attack buffs. Because it deals tremendous damage. It was always decent enough, but now that it has extended range, is great. So, yeah, even though I don't use it with the extended range, I just went and rushed into the enemy. But that's because I have enough damage to just break the super armor quickly. Now, let's use it, but against the LW's squad. So, we start by doing an extreme dodge after activating this. Okay, come on. Like that. Perfect. And just look at the damage. Look how much damage I dealt to the enemies. Yeah, they are... Those poor things are just not gonna make it. And there we go. Yeah, the unfortunate thing is that you have to, if you want to have like maximum output, you want to wait to have 5 stacks. But you can just commit to 4 stacks or 3 stacks. But well, in any case, that's kind of it, guys. I just checked the pure colors because mixed builds, you can do them, but Mike just busted on pure. Busted. Now, very quickly, as always, let's check Maika's weapon. I already told you, but one more time, just for you to remember. Atomic Buster. Busted. Increases critical damage. It's extremely easy to use, F2P friendly, you know. Just equip it on any color and it's going to be amazing. As long as you have enough critical rate. If not, equip critical rate supporters. Then we have Lapis Prism. Don't use this. Increases critical rate of normal attacks by 15%, 30%. Even though the speed is fixed on the normal attacks, it is not something that you want. It doesn't provide anything. It isn't even a damage increase. So don't use this, please. Then the Momochi weapon. Excellent for any color because all of the colors have a great amount of multi-hits. But preferably you use this on red because it's going to stack with the other defense reductions that Maika has on red. Then we have Invincible Juggernaut. Only usable on green, otherwise it's a bit stick. But it's extremely good on green because you're going to be able to spam your incendiary rounds and deal tremendous amount of damage. While the new weapon, the Renewal weapon, would double the damage, technically. I think it is better to activate the skill twice because you're going to do a ton of multi-hits. And that's going to allow you to use particle charge. And it bursts really well. And the particle charge cost of the skill is extremely small, so consider it. Oof. Dragon's Roar, the ultimate weapon, but it's the demonic weapon. Awful, 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 awful. Don't use it. I mean, there's never a scenario where we can actually use this, so. Oh, Riot Weapon 10-9. 10-9 is actually pretty decent. Maika is extremely good, an extremely good pick against the machined VR bosses that we have right now. So you might as well just increase your damage just cause. It's excellent, honestly. And we have X71 Deep Impact. Deep Impact is the weapon that you want to use on any color. It has micromanaging on it, so that's I don't like micromanaging, but if you're okay with it, well, you can just equip this one. It's going to work on any color. It increases your damage a lot. It enhances your basic and it incentivizes that you use the basics. So it is not a bad weapon. So overall, did the renewal fix Maika? Well, yeah, I guess. It made her skills, her awful skills, average and usable. It, unfortunately, the ones that we always pick are already, have always been the best, and they outperform everything else. So, Pyro, unfortunately, they didn't fix it. Is awful. Grenade launcher, usable on 2 colors against a single boss, but you don't want to use blue. Lotus, the option for PvP, but you don't want to use Maika on PvP. Or the option for super armor break strategies. She can be the super armor breaker, or she can just be a kind of support that we use ourselves to stun the enemy when the enemy doesn't have super armor. Keep that in mind. It's pretty doable. Then Pile Flare, which is just, awkward-ish. Not as awkward anymore, I think. I think the animation is actually a little bit different. And we have Explosive Round, which is going to be the counter, which now repositions you. And that's good value. But in most scenarios, you're not going to use it. It's either green, which there are better options, or blue. Well, sorry guys, I have talked a lot. So, what do you think about Maika, guys? Is she worth it? Are you happy about her renewal? Are you disappointed about the renewal? I take back what I said about this being awful and we having to avoid the pack and just tell Gremory that it was awful. But it honestly is very deceiving. I think they should do videos where they show us the renewal, but someone is talking on the video and it explains, we noticed that this was not right, so we decided to do this change. Kind of like LOL, like League of Legends. That would make it easier for players to understand why they did the changes, and it would allow us to know specific combos or the kind of things that they want us to do with the character. I think it would be a great idea. It's nice that they advertise it with a promotional video, but I would rather they make a guide of how it is going to play and what we're supposed to do with the new renewal character. So, anyways, that's about it for today. I hope you find this useful, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!